Good morning, Morgan. Today is Monday, March 15th.
Prey is a first-person action-adventure game developed by Arkane Studios, creator of the Dishonored series. The game takes place on Talos 1, a massive space station in nearby orbit. You take on the role of a male or female Morgan Yu, a scientist that will be boarding the station in a week. I won't spoil the introduction, but you'll find yourself aboard Talos 1 in the midst of a dire situation. An alien menace is loose, many are dead, and it is up to you to do something about it. If it sounds like it's a familiar setup, it's because it is, but a tried and true one. There's an air of mystery and dread that surrounds the entire game from beginning to finish, keeping you marching on. I won't speak much about the story. In general, it's a notch above average, but while it does intrigue, it also missteps constantly. Many of the objectives become a cycle of get to door is locked by something, go all the way to this new section of the station to unlock door, and it gets repetitive and predictable. There are many interactive scenes and situations that are handled awkwardly, and oddly enough Morgan is a silent protagonist, making the few conversations you have somewhat one-sided.
Hey, you don't look terrible in a TranStar uniform. How's your eye? Still red? I know the test might seem a little unconventional, but it's a Yu family tradition.
After the introduction, the game opens up in an area called Talos 1 Lobby. From here, there are many avenues to explore, labs to loot, and secrets to discover. Exploration is one of the most important parts of the game and is heavily rewarded. To survive, you'll need to find items to break down in recyclers, and then craft into useful things at fabricator machines, such as weapons, ammo, medkits, grenades, and more. Exploring will often help you get these items, or many times a useful keycode or card that will let you get into someone's private stash. Neuromods are items that allow Morgan to increase his skills and can be the biggest bonus for exploring, allowing Morgan to obtain more powerful abilities to combat the alien scourge. However, combat leaves much to be desired. In the first areas of the station, you are given very few lethal options. A wrench for melee, and a glue gun which slowly immobilizes enemies. They work fine together, but against the main enemy in the early game it can be frustrating. The mimics, which can imitate small objects in the environment, are so small and so fast it can be difficult to reliably hit them, making combat encounters a series of swings, misses, and deaths. Later on you gain more weapons, special powers, and other means of fighting, and things get more interesting, but it never reaches the heights you might expect from the sci-fi setting. Prey will constantly have a main quest tugging at you from the get-go, but there's more to do. There are many optional areas and side quests, some of which can be quite interesting. There are audio logs to collect, emails to read, and passcodes to discover. There's a lot you can learn about the crew from reading their private mail or raiding their cabins, but some interesting revelations about yourself as well. Speaking of the crew, there are some decisions to make, points where you can save or leave stranded crew members that may help or hurt you. It works well to create a little player agency that can be fun to experiment with.
What's that thing doing in there, huh?
Talos 1 is simply incredible. The station feels like a fully realized, lived-in massive structure. There are crew cabins, offices, an IT department, lounges, and more that make the station feel coherent rather than a mishmash of corridors. And the entire exterior is explorable and gives you a wonderful sense of scale.
You're always saying, I guess. That worked, I guess. I'll see you later, I guess. You're a scientist. Stop guessing. No. Or be quiet. Yeah, that's all.
Unfortunately, there are a few bugs in the game. From the start to the end of the game, my character would slide standing still, making hitting buttons on displays difficult. A few scenes were awkward, and a couple of times the developer didn't plan on the course of action I took, and I was left with an NPC with nothing to say. Bugs aside, the presentation and art of this game are incredible. Many areas of the station adhere to different art styles based upon when they were built, and walking into a new area and seeing the Earth and Moon as backdrop can be an absolute treat. Prey is a welcome return to the classic PC shooters in the likes of BioShock, System Shock, and Half-Life. It doesn't feel old though. It feels new and fresh with some interesting ideas to put forth, and Talos 1 is an incredibly memorable backdrop. There are a few issues. But in the end, Prey is a well put together adventure that's dripping with atmosphere.